Is Yuna the best Final Fantasy heroine? Not that one. No, not that one. No, nope, nope, not that one. That's the one. Okay. Hey guys, it's One Track Mind, and welcome to a brand new video. So let me ask you something. When you think Final Fantasy heroine, who comes to mind first? Well, Lightning got top billing on not one but 3 Final Fantasy titles. So she's certainly the character with the most spotlight. But no, she's a little too edgy for my taste. And to me, she's a bit of a Mary Sue. She could do no wrong, she's all powerful, never really makes mistakes. Also, am I alone in thinking her design is a bit generic? Okay, I've got it. How about Aerith? Well, she does die like 1/3 into Final Fantasy VII, something series fans will never stop simping about. I don't know about Tifa either, since she doesn't have much going on outside of I'm Cloud's friend and love interest. What about Rinoa from Final Fantasy VIII? She's a great heroine. I don't know though, main character Squall is so big in that game. It's tough to see her as the main hero, even though to be fair, it's more of a duo. I've got it. It's gotta be Celeste, right? From Final Fantasy VI. Badass Magitech-infused knight, former general of the Empire with combat prowess and tactical smarts to boot. Plus, she's the star of the iconic Opera House segment of the game, and who could forget the time she spent isolated with only her Uncle Cid to care for after the cataclysm caused by Kefka when he rearranged the goddess statues, thereby changing the face of the game world as we know it. That's gotta be enough, right? Well, there is that one moment, depending on how things work out, that Celeste gives up hope. If poor Uncle Cid doesn't get enough tasty fish, he passes away, and Celeste is so devastated, so utterly broken, that she climbs to the very top of the island's seaside cliff and attempts to end it all. Well, who else is there? Who am I forgetting? Yuna. Wait, Yuna? The meek summoner girl that our main guy Tidus follows around throughout the storyline of Final Fantasy X? But that story's about Tidus and Jecht, right? Auron is literally his steward, his mentor. Everyone falls in line behind him, and he leads a cast of unforgettable characters to glorious victory, saving the world of Spira from the inevitable, impending wrath of sin. That big-ass whale thing, right? Well, if that's how you look back on the story, you are wrong, sir. Dead wrong indeed. Let's take a look at the dynamic growth, unshakable bravery, and selfless sacrifice of Yuna, the Final Fantasy series' all-time best heroine. Okay, I'm gonna warn you, just in case, that I intend to spoil some key plot twists and reveals that occurred along the way during your adventure in Final Fantasy X. So if that sounds scary to you, go play the damn game. What the hell? This is probably the series' last objectively great game. Get yourself a copy of the HD remaster, dive in, and come back when you're done. When we're introduced to Yuna, she's already a well-respected figure among the citizens of Spira. She's a celebrity. She's followed by powerful and noble guardians. We find out that she is on a pilgrimage to gain the aid of Spira's Aeons. This game summoned creatures like Ifrit, Shiva, and the like, at the end of which she will expel the threat of the dreaded, goofy whale-looking thing, Sin, returning peace to her land and becoming the hero of an entire world's population. I mean, this alone is enough to sufficiently outline her standing as the most important character in the game. But let's move on. Yuna's characterization early on is that of a kind, patient, and generous leader. She listens well to people's concerns. She cares deeply for her loved ones. She is fiercely disciplined and has an unwavering dedication to her task as a summoner. She's also somewhat sheltered and naive and has a spark of adventurous curiosity beneath the surface of her calm and composed nature. Throughout her journey, she becomes inspired by her companions and the people around her, and she starts to grow and change. And by the very end, when it comes time to make a choice that will affect the future of millions of lives, she perseveres, pushes through, and clutches it out, uncovering the machinations of a god no one even knew had nefarious intent for Spira, and defeating it in combat without the help of her Aeons, the central pillar of her strength to begin with. Now this is a Final Fantasy heroine that we should be celebrating more than we do, wouldn't you say?
A lot of people in Spira depend on us. I learned to practice smiling when I'm feeling sad, you know.
There are a few key points that stand out in the story where Yuna is humanized. She's challenged and struggles with the challenge until it is overcome. We as people love to connect with this sort of an arc because it's relatable to us. Victory, change, or overcoming fear is not easy for us. We struggle, we ruminate, we procrastinate, we deny, we ignore, we deflect, we distract. We're not perfect. We don't always make the right decisions, and we fear the consequences that will happen when we don't, because there's no one to blame but ourselves. Although we may have the help of our friends, we may have the support of our loved ones. In the end, we are alone with our choices, and we must live with them, like it or not. I want to take a moment out of this video to say our minds can take us to some dark places, levels and depths that we never knew we could reach. If you find yourself spiraling, remember, you're okay. You can reach out for help, and there's always time for a second chance. Take time to try and see something you love about yourself every day, and choose something to be grateful for. The more you have these thoughts, the better you'll start to feel naturally on your own. Life is about love. Love yourself. Love others around you even when it's hard, and never, ever give up. This fact is hidden from the player until further down the line, but Yuna knows from the very start of her journey that her life will be sacrificed to defeat sin. She, a young girl who has spent a good portion of her life training for this very task, willingly walks a path that will inevitably end in her death. She does this not for personal glory, but to bring a fleeting calm to a ravaged people in a world haunted by an ever-looming threat. Nothing is promised in Spira. Peace never lasts long, and behind every era of order, a flash of destructive chaos is never far behind. She may not be physically formidable, but Yuna's determination and spirit are titanic in comparison to most. Aside from some distractions, Titus, she is able to stay present for the most part, find simple joy in the moment, and is rarely, if ever, somber or sullen. In fact, she's a ray of sunshine and helps those around her find hope, even though her future has none. The moment that endeared me the most to Yuna was the sending. Yuna is empathetic and caring, and the devastation of Kilika Island by sin crushed her. Despite the weight of her sadness, among the bodies and carnage, she retained her composure, gracefully performed the sending, a beautiful dance done by a summoner of spirit that sends the dead to the world beyond. She did her job because it needed to be done. A job that requires keen focus and concentration, not to mention physical coordination. I mean, she walks on water during this scene. And characterization of Yuna aside, this FMV cutscene is gorgeous and does not get mentioned enough in talks of key moments in the Final Fantasy series as a whole. The sending at Kilika Island is a major turning point, and after that, you know Yuna means business. Also, Yuna marries the utterly and outwardly creepy Seymour. I mean, what a fucking weirdo, this guy. The goat horns for hair, the gnarly claws he's got, his voice, his Aeon for crying out loud. Everything about Seymour says, hey, I'm bad. I have machinations. I have schemes. I'm lingering about, waiting to pounce. Yuna has an extreme distaste for Seymour, but she agrees to marry him anyway so that her companions can get a clear shot at sending him to the far plane. Now, to be fair, it wouldn't be long that she would have to uphold the integrity of the facade, but she still played along and did it anyway for the greater good, and that takes guts. There's so much to say about Yuna's exploits that one could go on, but my final point is this. Yuna, someone disciplined, dedicated, determined, essentially indoctrinated from youth to be a follower and indeed a servant of Yevon, Spira's, quote, benevolent god figure, was still wise and brave enough to face the god, question the god, and when she found out about its nefarious doings, defeat the god outright and forge her own path to salvation, redeeming not only herself, but Jecht, the ghostly faith who were running the show from the start, and most importantly, the citizens of Spira who just wanted to go about their lives in peace. Yuna destroyed Yevon and its plans, destroyed sin and ended its reign of terror, and became the de facto leader of an entire realm due to her wisdom, strength, and compassion for others. Now, given that information, could you possibly, conceivably, place any other Final Fantasy heroine above her? I think not. And I'd like to think our good boy Tidus would agree. But what do you think? Is Yuna the reigning queen of the Final Fantasy series? Or does she summon some doubt in your heart? And is another Final Fantasy heroine a stronger contender for the top spot? Let's talk about it in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is One Track Mind. You can follow me on IG, Twitch, and Twitter at One Track Mind TV. Please like and subscribe to the channel for more content, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.